What is one character lesson that we can learn from Queen Esther that is relevant today?
You got to do what you got to do. When the doorbell rings, when it's your opportunity to do something for other people at great personal expense, at enormous personal expense, you have to stand up and be counted. Now, Esther was a queen. It wasn't a role that she coveted. In fact, she didn't want it, as it's implicit in the Megillah and certainly in the Talmud that develops the story in greater detail. She was really coerced into becoming a queen, but she sacrificed everything to help her brethren. Now, she did it on a cosmic scale, on a large scale. But many of us find ourselves in conditions where, in our small way, we can make an enormous difference for many people. And we shouldn't undervalue what our contribution can be, and we shouldn't miss the opportunity to take advantage of what's in front of us and serve, as Esther did.
Next, one character lesson that we can learn from Mordechai that's relevant today.
The relationship between our spiritual identity and the real world. That's what I think we can learn from Mordechai. Mordechai's reaction to the imminent Holocaust was a religious one, not a political one. Before Mordechai used his access to the palace to politically resolve the situation with Haman, Mordechai gathered the children and studied with them and prayed with them, in the understanding that there is a direct link between the real world and our own spiritual health. And the healing of the Purim, of the Jewish people during the Purim story, has a political dimension. The story is a political story that plays out at that time to the advantage of the Jewish people. But the real reason that the political efforts succeeded was because, first, there were spiritual efforts made, and those spiritual efforts involved valuing something as little as a prayer. You know, when there's cosmic problems in the world, so what are you going to do? You're going to pray? Yeah, you're going to pray. You're going to do a good deed because it changes the world. It's a basic belief that there is a direct correlation, a direct connection between the spiritual reality and the physical world, and healing the spiritual deficiencies will remedy the situation on the ground physically. And Mordechai played that out perfectly, and it's a lesson for all of time, even now, always.
Okay, what's the most popular Purim insight or message?
You really want me to say it? Because I'm going to say it and you're not going to like it. Okay. The most popular Purim message is Jews have to stop trying to please Gentiles. Have to be proud of being Jewish. It never pleases them. It's never to our advantage. Historically, Jews have tried again and again and again to be liked by Gentiles by being Gentiles. The Purim story demonstrates unequivocally and undeniably and for all of history that as hard as we try to be Gentiles, the Gentiles won't allow us to be Gentiles. Not because they don't like us, but because they know that we're meant for a different purpose. And we need to be who we were meant to be, proudly, unapologetically, and then the Gentile will embrace us and like us for our difference, rather than for our desperate efforts at assimilating and getting them to like us. That's my lesson. It's the Rebbe's lesson.
Okay, why are Jews encouraged to drink a lot on Purim?
I have to begin my answer by saying that I don't think that every Jew in the world should get drunk on Purim. I think you have to be a responsible person to get drunk on Purim. If you're a child and the alcohol is going to be ugly, then the law was never intended for you. There is a time to let your mind go, to let go of your mind, and to allow something which is bigger and greater take up your space. The Purim story technically revolves around the lottery. By the name of the holiday, Purim actually means a lottery. The philosophical significance of this is chance. When things are left to chance, what will happen? And in the Purim story, when things were left to chance, the most fortuitous thing that could have happened, happened. As it says in the Megillah, every single scheme that the enemies of the Jews tried turned out to be advantageous to Jews by leaving it to chance. Now, most people, most of the time, don't live their lives as gamblers. It wouldn't be a good idea. You live your life responsibly and thoughtfully and deliberately and proactively. There's a time and place to let go. The story of Purim was an occasion when the Jewish people let go and let God, and he did what he needed to do. The celebration of Purim mirrors that. And that's what the excessive alcohol is about. It's about literally losing your mind so that you let something that's bigger and greater than yourself invade your space and be the basis for your motivation and your inspiration for that day, for that one day, for this special occasion.
What do most people not know about Purim?
I would say that the thing that most people miss about Purim, that more than anything else, Purim is a day to give charity to poor people. There are many mitzvahs on Purim. According to, if you really break it down, you can have as many as 7 mitzvahs on Purim, which is a lot. And Maimonides writes, and all the rabbis talk about it, but nobody even hears it, let alone practices it. If you can spend more money on your party and on your alcohol and on your gifts to your friends, or giving money to poor people, give money to poor people. Matanos lavyonim, giving money to the poor is the highest commandment of Purim. And we should put it ahead of all the other commandments in terms of our wealth, in terms of our time, in terms of our priority. And I think this is awfully overlooked on Purim. And as the Gemara halacha is on Purim, when somebody asks, you give without question. Someone says, give me, you give him. No questions asked. It's a day that our charitableness also has an aspect of super rationale. It doesn't always have to be so calculated. You give. And that's a good idea to refocus on when it comes to Purim. I surprised you, yeah?
Yeah, you did.
But it's the truth.